All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is March 19th, 2025. My name is John Carrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody in Cyberland, Digital Land, Podcast Land. Thank you so much for finding the value in my content. I love that. I love the subscriptions, and I like the kind words. Thank you so much. All right, let's go take a look at some charts this morning. Actually, this afternoon. All right, let's move this out of the way. All right, let's take a look at SPY on the 10-minute. All right, looking like a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. Got about 4 minutes left. Possible 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. All right, on the 2-hour chart, we have a 2-hour uptrend. I am buying the dip because we have a 2-hour uptrend. On the daily chart, we have price with a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bearish trap, under a falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, all right, over the midpoint. If it gets up here in the upper third, over 575, that's going to be bullish up there, all right, so we'll see what happens. We got all-time high, we got a confluence of two events coming in at the same time. All right, we've got the all-time high anchored VWAP is in the same location as the pivot, the valley low between the two peaks. All right, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm kind of expecting price to go up there and tag that area sometime before Friday. We'll see what happens, all right? But I would think after hitting the anchored VWAP low for 2025, they might want to go tag the anchored VWAP high for 2025. That's a normal procedure. As you can see, here's the anchored VWAP low is the pink line right through here. All right, let's take this off. All right, let's put the pink line on there. Okay, so here's the anchored VWAP low. You can see they tagged that. So I'm expecting price to come up here and tag this right here. So I'll move this out of the way because we don't need that. You can see here is the anchored VWAP high is the green line, moving average coming into the valley pivot right here. I can easily foresee us running up there and tagging that sometime this week. If it's not this week, I think maybe it will be next week. We'll see what happens. So we have a 2-hour uptrend, so I'm buying the dip, all right, on SPY. All right, let's take a look at the game plan, all right? So let's zoom in here. And let's move everything out of the way. All right, so from the beginning of the day right here, all right, we wanted first entry price is over 562. So you can see we got a green candle here on the 5-minute or on the 5-minute or on the 10-minute, either one. You got green erases red. Here's the red candle. Green erases the red candle right here. That was an entry. Big bottoming tail like that. So we traded that up over VWAP right up here. Okay. Bought the pullback into VWAP. Traded that back up to the open gap. All right. In the middle of the open gap. All right. Then we had the pullback. All right. Then we had FOMC. Then we had a green erases red event. Here is the red. Okay, the red comes from this high down to this low right here. Okay, so we have a green erases red event where green comes in, the bulls, and erase the red right there. So where was the entry? Right over the top of that body right there. Okay, so let me take this stuff and move it out of the way so you got a nice clean picture. Okay, there was the green erases red event. And you can see right here was our entry. You had to sit through the pullback. And then you got a nice reward with a nice exhaustion candle right up there into the close. Okay, so now we're getting a pullback, buying the dip. All right, because we got a 2-hour uptrend. And I'm looking for a continuation of that uptrend in that 2-hour uptrend. So there's the game plan right there. As you can see, the game plan works. All right, let's take a look at the QQQ. QQQ has the same game plan going on. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. All right, price action you can see right here. Price up over 476.10. All right, you got a nice green candle to enter on right here. All right, and you can trade it up to the exhaustion right up there. Buy the pullback into VWAP. VWAP holds. You get another reward. Trade it up into this. Pull back low into FOMC statement. Now you get a green erases red event. Same thing happened in QQQ. Here's the red. All right, from the pullback high down to the low, and now comes the green. Green erases the red. All right, and where's the entry? Right over the bodies of this peak right here. Take the arrow. There's your entry right there on that candle. Or you could or you had to sit through the pullback, but then you got the reward with the nice exhaustion candle all the way up here to the top. Okay, beautiful trade all the way up there. Again, anytime I see price, 10-minute uptrend. Okay, let's take a look at these. Okay, 10-minute uptrends running away from VWAP. Here's our 10-minute uptrend running away from VWAP. Another 10-minute uptrend. See the space between the candles and the VWAP running away from VWAP. Another 10-minute uptrend running away from VWAP. VWAP's the brown line here. Another 10-minute uptrend running away from VWAP there. All right, so let's take a look at QQQ on the daily chart. All right, on the daily. Okay, higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, gearing up for it to come back up here to the midpoint. Still stuck in the lower third. It's bearish down here in the lower third. Okay, anytime price moves up, gives it up and more, that's bearish. All right, so there's QQQ on the daily chart. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. You can see here's the low. They made a lower low. We're now in a weekly downtrend. Okay, on the monthly chart, you can see they'd have to come all the way down here to wipe out and create a monthly downtrend. So currently, we're on a weekly downtrend. The way to recover this is you have to take out the high or produce a higher low and higher low and a lower high, and then take out that high. All right, so there's QQQ. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, here's IWM. Candle today, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross. All right, underneath the falling 17, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line. All right, underneath the uptrend line right here. Okay, underneath the uptrend line, underneath the midpoint in the lower third, that's bearish still. All right, they are having a pullback in a bearish downtrend. All right, that's IWM. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond down. Higher low, higher high, closing over the bearish trap, under the falling 17, that's the red dots, under the uptrend line, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, over the midpoint, that's the green dash right through here. Okay, that's just neutral. They move up, they give it up, that's neutral. They move down, they give it up, that's just neutral. Again, also all of the Fab 5 are still in daily downtrends. Okay, so there's diamond down. Next one, FNGA. FNGA, price action. Everybody got a higher low and a higher high today, closing over a bearish trap, under a falling 17. Okay, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line, under the uptrend line, under the midpoint. No longer in the lower third like it was yesterday. It's just neutral. You move down, you give it up, that's neutral. You move up, you give it up, that's neutral. Okay, if it's in the lower third, that's bearish. If it's in the upper third, that's bullish. There's FNGA. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. T2122 price action for today. We made some lower lows. Here's yesterday's low. We made some lower lows right here, and we made some lower highs right here. Then we started making some higher lows, and some higher highs. Okay, so we'll see if we can grind our way out of the buyer's chop zone into the buy zone. On the bigger picture, this is the 15-minute chart. We have produced a higher low. Will the bulls be inspired enough to create the higher high, bringing us into the overbought zone? We'll see. We'll look forward to that later this week. T2123, price action, continued consolidation. They filled the bullish gap. We had a bullish gap up. The bears filled it during the FOMC statement. Here's the bullish gap that was held open. They filled it during the FOMC statement. For the most part, they held the higher ground, except for the FOMC statement. Then they had a quick recovery, only to come up here and begin consolidating again over prior consolidation. Okay, so we got price action, consolidation here, consolidation over prior consolidation is a bullish event, and that is a bullish environment. Okay, you can see price action now begins to consolidate over the prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. Don't be fooled. This is only a 15-minute chart, though. Okay, so let's zoom out. You get a bigger picture of what's going on. We have a hockey stick. Okay, this is the handle. That's the blade. This is the neck. All right, we have a hockey stick. That's a bear flag. We are closing in on the falling 200. Like to see price jump on top of that falling 200 and consolidate up there. That would be a nice bullish move. Not sure if they're going to get that done this week. We'll see. We're caught underneath this falling 200, two prior all-time highs, as well as the all-time high way up here. On the 3-bar chart, again, you can see the hockey stick. All right, dead cat bounce. All right, red candle bars. All right, all the way from up here on the lower high. You can see price action made a lower high and created a lower low. The bears were inspired. All right, so that's what we're looking for, is the bulls to be inspired by the failure to make a lower low. All right, there's T2123. That's the 3-bar chart. That's a hockey stick. Again, caught underneath the fading 200 SMA right through here. All right, we'll take a look at FNGU price action today. All right, look at this. We jumped up over the falling 200 SMA yet again. Okay, need to make higher highs though. We did make the higher low. Will they be inspired enough to make a higher high? There's the high. We just got an equal high. So looking for that higher high to be made possibly this week. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. We'll see. You can see the price action had some runs over VWAP. See, here's the burnt brown line. And you can see the price candles ripping up over it, ripping up over it. Again, ripping up over it. All right. So there's FNGA. That's bullish. All right. Even though on the bigger picture, it's a bear flag. But that's bullish on the shorter time frame, making higher lows and higher highs. Well, we got an equal high. Who says they're done already? All right. So there's FNGA. All right. Caught underneath. All right. We're finally on top of this falling 200. That's good news. Like to see some consolidation and then a breakout to the upside. Still caught underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Still caught underneath the uptrend line. All right. Like to see us recover this. There's FNGA. Let's head off and look at a few sectors. We'll look at XLE first. All right. This is our energy sector. Nice candle today for the XLE. XLE is now bullish. Okay, we made a higher high. Finally. All right. Finally made the higher high. Higher low, higher high, closing over downtrend line 1, downtrend line 2, the 12-month high anchored VWAP right here. That's the pink line over the midpoint, over the prior high. Okay, now in an uptrend, XLE making a higher high today. Okay, so that's nice work on XLE. That's bullish. All right, they need to hold the higher ground for once. You see, they have a habit of moving up, giving it up, moving up, giving it up, even moving down and giving it up. All right, so just really just neutral. Will they be able to hold the higher ground for once? We'll see. All right, only time will tell. There's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. All right, here's petroleum crude oil. We got a lower high. And the low there is 71.97. The low here is 71.93. Lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish cross, closing over the 3-year high anchored VWAP, the pink line, closing under the uptrend line, under the falling 17, under the midpoint, in the lower third, still bearish. We're in a bear flag still. They can break the bear flag if they want to. They're not ready yet. Okay, so there's USO, still bearish down here. Again, look at the price action. They move down and they hold the lower ground. All right? That's a bearish environment. There's USO. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG's a high flyer. Okay, UNG up here, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17, up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, closing over the bearish trap or a bullish cross, either one. Up here, quadrant 4, that's bullish over this 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, holding the higher ground is a bullish environment. Up here in quadrant 4, bullish environment. So there's UNG. Let's take a look at precious metals. GLD. GLD makes, yet again, another new all-time high. Okay, that's bullish. Making new all-time highs is an extremely bullish environment. Closing over the trap, over the 17, over a prior all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. There's gold. Okay, let's take a look at silver. Silver puts a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap. over the rising 17, over, this is a 12-year high, anchored VWAP, the pink line. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish, making higher lows, making higher highs, holding the higher ground, that's bullish, SLV. Let's take a look at a few sectors. First, we'll start with SMH. SMH looking like an outside day. That's a higher high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap, but under the falling 17. Price action closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right here. Closing under the midpoint. No longer in the lower third. Again, they move up, they give it up. That's neutral. And if you move down and you give it up, also neutral. If they find themselves camping out in the lower third, they'll be bearish. Right now, just neutral. SMH. All right, let's go look at the cousin to the SMH, which is going to be the XLK, the technology sector. All right, so here's price action, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross or a bearish trap, under the falling 17, that's the red dots, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line, okay, under the uptrend line, that's the gold line, under the midpoint, that's the green dash, up here, again, you move up, you give it up, that's neutral. The same exists on the southern side, okay? You move down, you give it up, that's neutral. So still neutral here on XLK. Let's take a look at XLF. It's our financials. Nice work on the financials today. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a bullish trap. Closing over a falling 17. Closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Closing over closing in the upper third and over the midpoint. Okay, that's bullish. Okay, you move down, you give it up, back up here in the bullish territory. Okay, so like to see this hold for 3 or 4 days over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's a tall order. We'll see if they can get it done. That's XLF. That's bullish. Let's take a look at IYT and we'll call it a day. Okay, transports in a bear flag down here. See this? Price moves down, holds the lower ground. That's bearish. In order to have a decent, robust rally, all right, we're going to need uptrends out of SMH and XLK. Okay, those two are cousins. All right, that's the semiconductors and the technology sector. Okay, we're going to need financials and we're going to need transports. All right, we got the financials. We don't have technology or the semiconductors. All right, and we don't have we don't have the transports or technology and the semiconductors. We have the financials, but that's all we got at this time. Price action, bear flag. All right, moving down and over to the left. It's hold right, over to the right. Holding the lower ground. Higher low, higher high, closing in a bearish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high, the pink line, anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line, under the midpoint. In the lower third, that's still bearish, IYT. All right, I know my traders, our traders, had an awesome day today. I'm so happy that y'all printed some money. All right, so way to go. I want to pat them all on the back. High five for everybody. Way to go. All right, let's come back and do this again tomorrow. All right, I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock in the morning. Thank you, everyone. If you have some questions or you need some help, again, please contact me on Skype. I'm here to help. All I want to do is see you succeed. All right? Thanks, Robert, J.A., Scott, Brad. Way to go, guys. Way to go, team. A lot of guys made their daily goals today, and more. Some made two, 3, 5, or 6 daily goals. I love it. Way to go, guys. Nice trading. All right, I'll see you guys, everybody, tomorrow, guys and gals. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We'll prep this thing and get this thing kicked off. All right? Again, we're looking for 575. Will we get it? Well, we'll see. All right? Thanks, JB. Thanks, Rod. Harry, Greg, Lorene. Love it. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow.